Top 10 tips and tricks for making cocktails at home. Right now on Dr. Cork. I've been making cocktails for more than 10 years, and during this time I've learned something about the basics of making cocktails at home. What to pay attention to and what to stay away from. That said, I'm not a bartender in the classic sense of the word, I don't work in a bar, but if you make cocktails at home or want to start, this video will be useful to you, and professional bartenders should already know everything. So give it a like and let's get going. Number 1. Use good quality liquors. There's a theory that cocktails were invented as a way to mask the taste of bad alcohol with sugar and acidity, but bar culture has advanced a lot since then, and everyone has realized that the quality of a cocktail can't be higher than the quality of the ingredients used in it. As the data scientists say, garbage in, garbage out. It applies to juices, syrups, cordials, shrubs, but first and foremost it applies to alcohol. I'm not saying you should use the most expensive premium stuff you can find, not at all. Just don't scrape the bottom of the barrel, that's it. I have a whole video about how to start a home bar and what alcohol to buy, check it out for more details. Number 2. Always use quality ice. I've talked about this many times, but it bears repeating. Clear ice made from filtered water makes for less diluted, better chilled cocktails without any questionable flavors. You can make clear ice at home, I've shown you how, or you can buy it at the store or order delivery. It is usually inexpensive. You can also invest in an ice maker, but a good one can be pretty expensive. And remember, you will always need more ice than you think. You need ice for chilling glasses, for shaking, for stirring and for serving. So make plenty of room in your freezer for ice and keep a supply there, it won't go to waste. Also use enough ice for serving and shaking, more ice helps chill the cocktail faster and dilute it less. Before we continue, I would like to invite you to subscribe to my Patreon or to become a channel member on YouTube. Paid subscribers get access to a secret sponsored chat room, additional content and behind the scenes footage. You'll help a lot by subscribing, all the links are in the description to this video and in the attached comment. Thank you very much. Number 3. Squeeze your own fresh juice from citrus fruits. Lemons and especially limes should always be squeezed right before making cocktails using a squeezer like this, or a citrus press. Yes, you can buy a ready-made lemon juice, it's certainly convenient as it keeps longer and doesn't require the use of a squeezer, but when it comes to limes, I personally have never tried bottled lime juice to be decent. When you squeeze the juice on the spot, you also get citrus essential oils that contribute to the flavor and freshness of the cocktail. As for oranges, it's not so clear-cut, as oranges vary depending on where they are from and the season, so I prefer to use ready-made cold-pressed juice when possible, or even 100% store-bought juice as it has a consistent flavor. Although if you live somewhere in Egypt, Spain or South Africa for example, it's probably easier for you to just pick a ripe orange off the tree and juice it. It's the same story with grapefruit. Before using citrus fruits like lemons or oranges, zest them. The zest can be used to garnish cocktails, providing a burst of flavor and aroma. Number 4. Sample your cocktails before serving. This is especially true if you are making a new cocktail or using unfamiliar ingredients. Also, fruit juices can vary in sweetness from fruit to fruit, and you may need to adjust the flavor a bit. Before you serve your drink, grab a bar spoon and taste it like this, by dabbing it on your hand. Or you can use a disposable straw. But only if you don't care about climate change. Of course, don't sip from the glass or use your guest's straw, but tasting the cocktail before serving is a good habit to get into. Number 5. Make your own syrups. First of all, this applies to simple sugar syrup, because just like its name suggests, it's very simple to make. Combine equal parts of sugar and hot water by mass and stir until sugar dissolves. You can make Demerara sugar syrup the same way. If you want to make rich simple syrup, 2 parts sugar, 1 part water, you'll have to use the stove and boil the water and sugar a bit until it dissolves, but it is the same principle. Keep in mind that rich simple syrup is not twice as sweet as simple syrup, because sugar also gives its volume, and the difference will be rather 1.5 or even less. Other syrups are prepared the same way, but with adding strawberries, raspberries, vanilla pods and so on. If you want me to make a video about that, comment down below. Oh, and to make your syrup last longer, sterilize the bottle with boiling water and add a shot of vodka as a preservative. And don't even think about buying simple syrup at the store. Comprende? Hit like if you do. Number 6. Get the necessary bar equipment. You can't make cocktails properly without the proper tools. You won't need everything all at once, but you do want to get started with a couple of basic bar tools. The main thing to buy is a good jigger, or preferably a couple of jiggers of different volumes. 1 ounce and 2 ounces, 25 and 50 milliliters, or 1 ounce and 1.5 ounce. This lets you accurately measure cocktails with ease. Many cocktails, which include numerous ingredients, can be ruined with an uneven balance of booze. As a last resort, you can use a shot glass, but you'll be able to measure only 40 or 50 milliliters of its own volume, but 10 or 15 milliliters will be difficult. You will also need a good sharp knife to cut the fruit, and a peeler or a small sharp knife to zest your citrus fruits. And of course a cutting board. A good sized shaker won't hurt, ideally one that allows you to mix more than one cocktail at a time. I prefer Boston shakers, consisting of 2 glasses. Although more often in the videos I use a little cobbler, just because it is transparent and pretty. You can also use a regular glass pickle jar, just wash it thoroughly. You'll also need a strainer to pour the finished cocktail in the glass, and a mesh strainer to filter out the finer bits. A bar spoon will come in handy for stirring cocktails, adding small amounts of ingredients and making layered shots using its reverse side, but in principle a regular teaspoon with a long handle will also do. A squeezer comes in handy for squeezing the juice from limes and lemons, but not oranges and grapefruits, that's much easier to do with a juicer. A muddler is also useful for squeezing juice out of fruits and berries. It is difficult to replace this item of bar equipment with something else. Once I've carved a muddler from a wooden mop handle, but it was not quite the same. And a towel, or preferably several towels, also an indispensable thing in a home bar. And other stuff like all kinds of bottle pourers, corkscrews, blenders, wine aerators, gas burners, you can buy later as needed. Number 7. The glassware is just as important as the equipment. It may cost a decent amount of money and take up a lot of space on your shelves, but every type of cocktail needs a different glass, and it's a very important element of home bar. It may seem like the glassware doesn't affect the flavor of the cocktail, but where do you think it would taste better to drink the same cocktail from? A beautiful chilled coupe glass or a plastic cup? Exactly. There are quite a few types of glasses: Collins, Martini, Sling, Hurricane and many others, so you don't need to rush to extremes and buy up the entire glassware store. Just start with the one you plan to use first. These are usually shots, highballs, rocks or old-fashioned glasses, and martinis, if you plan on making classic cocktails. You can also grab beer pints, though highballs will work too, and red wine glasses. Number 8. Chill your glasses. Since the vast majority of cocktails should be served very cold, it is a good idea to chill your glasses before serving. This is especially true for small volume cocktail glasses, as a warm glass can significantly increase the temperature of the cocktail, and by chilling the glass you help ensure the cocktail remains refreshingly cool to the very last sip. You can chill the glass in one of 2 ways. Either just keep it in the freezer until needed, this works when you have few guests or plenty of space in the freezer, or you can chill the glass with ice just before pouring the cocktail into it. Simply put ice in the glass, maybe add some water, stir a little and then discard the ice. I have to admit, I don't always follow this advice myself, but who among you is without sin? Let him be the first to throw a stone at me. Amen. Number 9. Infused spirits. Infused spirits are a simple and cheap way to create unique drinks with interesting flavors. A trivial vodka infused with vanilla pods or hibiscus or mountainberry tea turns into a drink of completely different order. Just take some fresh herbs, spices, dried or fresh fruits, pour alcohol, by the way it doesn't have to be vodka, you can use gin, rum or tequila, wait a couple of days, filter it out and that's it. Seriously, pay attention to this point. Infused spirits are awesome. And don't get me started on homemade liqueurs, cordials, shrubs and so on. It's all pretty easy to make too, and the results are usually great. Number 10. Garnish creatively. Nicely garnished cocktail immediately gets +5 to the wow factor, and the garnish doesn't even have to be complex and fancy. It is often enough to take a lemon wheel, a lime wedge or an orange peel, and already the cocktail will look completely different. Mint or rosemary sprig, berries, edible flowers or sugar rim will give your cocktail a professional look. Plus, you can always experiment. Bonus point: add salt. And I'm not talking about the salt rim for margaritas or Bloody Marys, I'm talking about adding actual salt directly into the cocktails. A small amount of salt will not make your cocktail salty, but rather will enhance its flavor and reduce bitterness. It is most convenient to use a salt solution with 20 grams of salt and 80 milliliters of hot water. A few drops of such a solution will make your cocktails just better. It sounds like magic, but it works especially well in sour cocktails like margaritas and daiquiris, and in coffee cocktails like espresso martini. If you've never tried adding salt to a cocktail, give it a try and you'll be very surprised. And if you want me to make a video about it, just ask. So in a nutshell, these are my tips and tricks for your home bar. If you want me to talk about any of these points in more detail, you know what to do. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my YouTube and Instagram, and if you want to support my channel, become a patron or join the YouTube membership. All the links are in the description of this video. Drink responsibly and as always, до свидос!